Welcome to the Austrian-Albanian evening today. I'm Günther Fellinger. I'm the chairman of the Austrian Committee for NATO Enlargement of Austria, Kosovo, Bosnia, Ukraine and the European Union. I'm today for this week for 3 days in the NATO member state Albania. I'm very honored to be here. I lived here 6 happy years. I was celebrating even 2009 the membership of Albania here in this beautiful country at the boulevard, and I'm very happy about Albania, and I call all Albanians to support Austria, Kosovo, Bosnia and Ukraine and the European Union to be in NATO. This is very important and I hope for your support, and I ask please support Austria and Kosovo especially, but also Bosnia, Ukraine, Slava Ukraine, obviously the heroes. Please support them. This is very important. We need to be more united. That's why I'm calling also for Albania to be in the European Union as soon as possible, and it's possible very fast without corruption. And we need a new non-socialist government here, because unfortunately the last 10 years have been quite terrible in terms of corruption. The reality is not good, and we need of course change here in Albania. And the recent scandal of the American FBI agent being corrupted by Albanian agents is of course one of the reasons why there should be early elections, and I'm calling for that and for government change. The event today is called Zeitenwende, the famous German word that means the changing of times, the necessary to adapt to the new circumstances of European danger and war, because Russia has attacked Ukraine and has declared economic war against all of us in Europe. We need to be more united, and the logic is Austria, NATO, and of course Albania in the European Union, and with the euro as currency like Kosovo. And by the way, I was walking through Albania today, last 2 days, and I didn't see a lot of Kosovo flags, while it is now, I want to officially congratulate you, 15 years of the Republic of Kosovo. Congratulations, it's a major step forward. I'm very happy about it, and congratulations. I cannot celebrate in Kosovo, but I will celebrate in Vienna at the embassy event on Monday. I will also celebrate here tomorrow because it's a very special moment and I'm very happy about it. So congratulations Kosovo for 15 years anniversary of independence, and I'm a bit unhappy with the situation because we have no real major flags here of Kosovo, and that's very unfortunate, and we are in a situation where I call for more support. Please welcome, yeah. We have the guests arriving gradually. I will make a short declaration here in the beginning. Welcome everybody, explain a little bit, and then we will have a discussion. You're very welcome. So here is of course the point. I'm here to campaign for Austria, for Kosovo to join NATO, and of course for Bosnia as well, and also to organize the Austrian Albanian society anew, because that's very important for the future, and I have drafted a small agenda. The general topic of this event today is called Zeitenwende. I repeat it, also Albania and Austria must do similar changes like the other countries in Europe to react to the danger of the Russian war, because we have war in Europe again and the Ukrainians are fighting, but we all have to do more institutionally, financially and industrially to help the Ukrainians. I also criticize the Albanian government for doing so little in terms of military supply for Ukraine, and the Albanian defense industry would be capable to do much more, and that's absolutely necessary to be done. And here, for today's event, I will go through the main points of the agenda. European Albania, it's time for European Union Albania. This is very important. Zeitenwende in Europe and in Albania must mean full integration of Albania in the European Union, and I call for Albania to leave the open Balkans. It's absolutely wrong that Albania is still in this Russian-Serbian project. It must leave that. We must isolate Serbia very clearly, and we must freeze the EU status of Serbia, and we must also freeze the candidate status. The support for Kosovo, Ukraine, Austria in in NATO, this is very important, and also for Albania to join the European Union already in 2024. How this can be, I will explain today. Then of course European infrastructure for Albania. The last 10 years have not seen a lot of progress in that one, In the 8 years before, there was 2 major tunnels to Elbasan and to Kosovo. This was really a lot of modern infrastructure being built, and now we have very little progress in the last 10 years. What we need is the big north-south corridor. This is very important. This is absolutely important to have this corridor. And we need also the highways to Greece. We need the highways towards Albania, towards Kosovo finished. We need the highways towards Macedonia, the highway towards Montenegro. I ask myself, the EU says a lot of things, you know, in terms of railway infrastructure and port infrastructure. A lot of projects are floating around, but unfortunately they are not realized. And the last 10 years were lost for Albania. We have not really integrated Albania well. We have pretended to do an enlargement process. We have waited almost for 10 years to open the negotiations. Still today we are stuck, and this is our shame. But as well in Albania, the corrupt socialist government has brought very little progress for 10 years of development. Let's not forget, it's 10 years now, and there should be in a transition country significant progress every single year, and this has really not materialized, and it's very disappointing. And I call for Zeitenwende. The change of times requires also a new government in Albania. And as we have seen that now also Albanian corruption is exported towards America in the recent scandal, it's quite obvious that this government cannot continue in the present form. And I call for early elections, and I call for fast-track integration of Albania after these elections into the European Union. And that's the better way forward for our strategy with and towards Albania. I have also many Austrian points which I would like to inform the Albanian public as well, because I started after my return to Austria 2 years ago. I started now with 3 major initiatives which are important. This is Public Democracy Initiative Volksbegehren, it's called a public petition for Austria to join NATO. I call the Albanians to support this. You are a NATO ally, you can support Austria in NATO, it's very important. I call also for the opening of the Austrian labor market towards the Albanians. We have just opened our Austrian labor market towards the Ukrainians, and they can now go the same like the Swiss or the Norwegians, and this is from April 2023. So let's do the same for the Albanians, and of course for Kosovo and for Bosnia and for others. But all EU candidate status should have the same rights like the Ukrainians now. Of course, they have the war, we have to support them specially, but why not to open the market as well for the Albanians, because they do it the same in Germany already, and many other countries are more open than we, and this protectionism, xenophobia is not very helpful. I'm actually totally against it, and I'm also calling for better relation with the United States. I'm calling for a free trade agreement between the European Union and the United States. This is important, and this is what should happen as well. And I've launched also this petition, and I call also Albania to support that. Very good, very welcome, you're all very welcome. So that is very important, my Austrian initiatives, and I thank for the support, and I hope that the Albanian public will support this as well. For the Austrian-Albanian cooperation, we will discuss a lot of things today, this evening. We have been very active in the years from 2010 to 2014. Unfortunately, the last years were not so active, and it is today, to my best knowledge, really the minus point, the low point of the Austrian-Albanian relation. That's very regrettable, because we have a long history of 110 years of friendship, and we should be very intensively working together. Unfortunately, the Austrian government has made a shift towards Hungary and towards Serbia in 2022, and they have then blocked also the Schengen enlargement of Romania and Bulgaria. I criticize this a lot in Austria, and I'm very, it's a very regretful development. And I call Austria to return to our traditional alliance with Albania and with Romania and with the NATO allies, and we should also turn completely towards the West. This is the much better policy. Yes, we will also, I will do a similar activity in Kosovo as well, to launch the Austrian Kosovo Society, because we need to intensify our cooperation now, all cross borders, and to be more united is the answer to the Russian war. So that's very logical as well for the enlargement debate. And now in steps, also I would like to welcome the guest today. And I have here prepared a small presentation in the beginning. I will outline you some of the key demands which I will put forward in the which I'm already putting forward in the Austrian public all the time. But I would like to inform you as well that you know where the direction of our activities in the coming months will be going, and I welcome you very much. First of all, NATO enlargement is the most important. And here it's very clear that we need Kosovo in NATO, Austria in NATO, Bosnia in NATO, Ukraine in NATO, the European Union in NATO. We need to be more united because we are under heavy pressure. The Russian war since 1 year, very soon next week, it will be 1 year of war in Europe again. And yeah, we can all say Slava Ukraine, but it's not enough to say congratulations or to wish the Ukrainians the best. We need to support them more. And the Albanians can do much because you're in NATO. You need to supply Ukraine more with weapons and with ammunition and with military support, but also Austria needs to join NATO. And we need also to institutionally make the right answers. That means the enlargement of NATO is absolutely critical. Because I'm today in Albania, I want also to say very clearly we need to fast track and speed up the enlargement of Albania and Macedonia to the European Union. I want to start with that point. You have made some progress, but we are now 10 years in this debate. 10 years. And you know, EU candidate status was awarded in 2014, now we are 2023. We need a new status for Albania as a full member, maybe similar like Romania, Bulgaria. It was supervised, it was assisted membership, it was with CVM to supervise the management of the funds. All this is possible, but the integration must be fast-tracked, and that's very important because we have lost too much time. And I have made now in my presentations in Austria a lot of proposals what we can do in order to fast-track enlargement, how to make economic enlargement already. This is my line here for the fast-tracking of the Schengen association of the new countries, of the candidate countries, to end all the import of Russian energy into the European Union as well in the candidate countries. Austria, unfortunately, is here not very big success, but Germany has now ended the import of Russian energy. It's a major historic shift there. Some countries really do historic shifts, Albania not, Austria not. And this is things we need to change. Today's event is called Zeitenwende. Where is the Zeitenwende for Albania? Where is the Zeitenwende for Austria? This, unfortunately, we have missed the train in 2022 and it's time to catch up. I'm calling since several years now for the Euroization of Albania. Unfortunately, your economy has gone the wrong way. This was very regrettable. You need to, similar like in Kosovo and Montenegro, adopt the euro. We have now one big success with Croatia, with joining the Eurozone. I was there to celebrate, and the same thing should be happening with, of course, Macedonia, with Bosnia, and also with Albania. And this is very important, which I will explain in a second, because we have also opposition. Unfortunately, Hungary is supported by Russia, and Hungary is very active. The Prime Minister there is very active to build an alliance against the West. He is undermining Austria with these recent activities with the Austrian Chancellor supporting him, and then blocking Schengen membership of Romania and Bulgaria. That was a major setback for the Western integration, and we have here a real big problem. And he is also very active with the president of Croatia to undermine Western unity. And this is deeply problematic, and we need to work against this. What we need to do is to isolate Serbia. It's very important that Albania leaves the open Balkans. We should not endorse Serbia. We should isolate Serbia. Because isolate Serbia, why? Because they are working with Russia in the war. They keep the airspace open. They have put the most pro-Russian politician of Serbia as the head of the Secret Service of Serbia. And this is very regrettable. And I protest the whole years. I was now 3 times in Serbia to protest against that. Once they have stopped me at the border in Macedonia, Serbia, and the Secret Service interviewed me for that. And you know, I still cannot believe that we are continuously focusing on appeasement of Serbia, and I cannot understand why Albania is doing that. Really, that's very regrettable, and it must change. And why it must change, you know, because I have made also the proposal in the Austrian public to offer Serbia something for a recognition of Kosovo, because that's the key to peace, the recognition of Kosovo. And that's, of course, what we can do is the introduction of the euro in Serbia as well, that we can do relatively easy, because we have done it in Kosovo and in Montenegro. Dr. Busek himself in 2002. He was instrumental to get this done. And this is the better policy. We can offer it to Serbia. They can recognize Kosovo. We have peace in the Balkans, and then we live happily forever onwards. This is what we can do. And to make it credible, it's important that Albania adopts the euro. Unfortunately, Prime Minister Rama from the Socialist Party has de-euroized Albania. He has made everything to have less euro in circulation. This was completely wrong, and it's very regrettable. And I don't want to go into details about the land swap deal, which also Mr. Rama was unfortunately very much involved, and this was also very regrettable. And here the foreign policy, where I see in this country no Ukrainian flag, no Kosovo flag here in Albania on the 15th year. Tomorrow is the 15th year celebration of Kosovo independence. Not a single Kosovo flag is visible here in Albania. Not a Ukraine flag here in Albania on any public building. It's really very regrettable. A few EU flags, but very few. When I go to Georgia, I see EU flags everywhere. Everywhere. In June I was there, it was everywhere. At every building, at every airport, at every moment you see, you think Georgia is already in the EU, and they didn't even get the full candidate status up to now. And Albania has this, and you see only few, and you see rarely a NATO flag here, not even at the Ministry of Defense. So flags are not everything, but it's a sign that the Western integration and the pro-Western foreign policy has really come to a stop in 2014, and this needs to return. So I'm calling for Ukraine. Of course, this is the most important foreign policy question, Ukraine to be in NATO and in the EU, and the support of Ukraine, and here much more can be done. Good. Then, of course, my most important country where I work the most these days is in Montenegro. I'm also the chairman of Montenegro Goes Europe, and I'm supporting also, we'll do a similar event in the 9th of March in Montenegro. And I'm calling for Montenegro to be, as the most advanced country, obviously to be in the European Union 2024. And I want to remind all my friends here in Albania that also they had events, big protest events without European flags. And I told them, have European flags, and they kindly have put European flags to the main opposition rallies here and to the protest rallies. And I call here on the Albanian opposition to put European flags at your events. This is very important. You have to make very clear that the direction is the European Union, and that is the way forward. And I call for Montenegro, for Albania and for North Macedonia to join the European Union together as NATO allies. And here's the logic. They are in NATO already. They are joining our Western foreign policy. They have joined our policy against Russia. They have all done everything to comply with our common foreign policy. So this is very important. And this is what we need to do. And so the three countries must be prioritized, because we have to help our friends and we have to punish the ones who don't comply, like Serbia. This is the foreign policy Austria should have, and this is what I will work for. I've already explained here that Albania and North Macedonia have already not completed the negotiations, but I explain again, these are not negotiations. Small countries in the stage of the countries we are in, they don't negotiate with the European Union about it, but they implement what is already decided. So it's not that we need 5 years for negotiations. The negotiations can be done in 6 months, basically, because there is not a lot of room of negotiations. All these countries have to implement what is already implemented, actually, because most of these countries have had a 15 years process of transformation towards European standards already. The question is obviously the implementation and the supervision, but that can be much better done inside the European Union, because we have all the jurisdiction, we have all the supervision opportunities inside, so the faster they are inside, the better. I criticize again the European Union for having separate programs between the Western Balkans and Ukraine and Moldova and Georgia. The summits now here in Albania in December, again, only the Western Balkan there, not the Ukrainians, not the Moldovans, the Georgians. Now in February we have a summit only with Ukraine, and immediately Russia makes destabilization with Serbian agents in Moldova because we are not able to make one format for all, and this is very regrettable. I'm calling also for elections for the European Parliament to be held in all EU candidate countries in 2024 for observer MEPs. Yeah. This is something every country can do. It's very simple. You simply make an election parallel and you send observer MEPs towards the European Parliament, like we in Austria have done it as well. You can also send parliamentarians there. But also the political leads need to be Europeanized, and organizing European Parliament elections for observer MEPs is absolutely doable. We still have a year to go for the elections, and that's absolutely what I'm calling for. Then we have 5 political groups, major political groups. I'm now active in all the countries to promote that all 5 political groups, major political groups, like the EPP, the Socialists of Europe, the Liberals, the Greens, and the European Conservatives, they need a strong party in all 9 countries. This is very important. And also in Albania, I have here the list, and I will contact all the parties. I have consulted with them already during this week, and I will continue that this is happening. So we need the full political integration of the 9 candidate countries, and we need it fast. So I call for integration of all the region. In a short, I'm having this podcast and also this channel, which you know, and these activities on Twitter. I thank you very much for following. And I have this YouTube page where I declare all these things in public, and as many of you follow my videos, I want to thank you for that. And I will continue my activities for peace in Europe by more unity in the coming weeks. And I repeat, Austrian neutrality is of course my main topic, is immoral, is anti-European solidarity, and is completely irresponsible. And we need a faster enlargement of EU, NATO, and of course also Albania in the EU is absolutely necessary. Now I will go to the second phase of the meeting. I will then again call for Zeitenwende in Albania. I will also we will launch the Austrian Albanian Society. It will be a continuation in the spirit of the activities until 2014, but we will relaunch that, and we will have a debate about what to do and how to do it. And we will also have a next meeting on the 11th of March. I will be back here in Albania, and I will invite all friends, and we will have some progress hopefully for the next meeting. Then we will discuss about various petitions. I will run as a president, actually, and that will be my effort. And I will then do all the legal stuff and all the necessary effort. And I will also then organize an event in the first week of April. That is my plan. And then I will collect more support, and I will see who is ready in Albania to support change. Zeitenwende for Albania, it's absolutely necessary. That some people think they can continue like it was in 2021, but Europe has changed and we all have to adopt. And of course, more unity is necessary. It means more openness from the EU for the integration of Albania and fast-track integration, but also change away from corrupt socialist decade, which we had now for about 10 years actually. And it was actually, a lot of lost time and lost effort, and we know now all the results of this quite extreme activities, which we know now from this McGonigal scandal, and the consequences are clear. We need to change things, and we need to change them fast. Yeah, that's the direction. That's my opening statement. The rest of the meeting will not be public, but I will tomorrow publish another video, and I will keep you posted on these activities. And I want to thank you very much for your attention, and please support more unity of Europe and Zeitenwende for Austria. The event will be next week then in the Concordia Press Club in Vienna, and then today Zeitenwende for Albania. That is very clear. In the foreign policy, Albania has failed. In the EU integration, Albania has failed. In the anti-corruption policy, Socialist Albania in the last decade has failed. In infrastructure, it has failed. And all these things were very obviously and very clear. And I call the international community to stop supporting the socialist government and to really organize and support change in this country. Change back to European Albania, which was promised to us in 2013, which was not implemented. And now it's time for European Albania. Thanks a lot, and more to come from Pax Europiana here from Albania in the coming days. Bye.